Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you for taking the time to check my presentation. The title of my presentation is Promoting Digital Literacies Through Digital Gaming in Face of COVID-19. So let's get started. So the potential of video games to promote language learning has been established in various studies. Some of the reported benefits of digital gaming in L2 classrooms include languaging L2 discourses, promoting collaborative social interaction, promoting learners' autonomy, situated L2Us, among many others. But what I'm really interested in here is using digital gaming to deal with an imminent challenge that as educators we have faced in face of COVID-19 challenge. So since the pandemic started, we have switched to teaching online to maintain social distancing while delivering instruction. And one of the key challenges that we have faced has been the limited digital literacies of learners who were commonly believed to be digital natives who are really tech savvy. So that was an unexpected challenge. So what I'm proposing here is using digital games as context and resources for developing learners' digital literacies in the foreign language classroom to support online instruction in face of the pandemic. A very appropriate theoretical framework or pedagogical framework for this initiative would be a Multiliteracies Approach to L2 learning, which was founded by the New London Group. And a multiliteracies approach emphasizes the multiplicity of communication channels and media and globalized or multicultural communication. So it's really about moving out of the realm of using language or one mode of communication, one channel, to a diversity of modes of communication, modes of expression, and semiotic systems to be able to reach out to a globalized audience. So it emphasizes different modes of representation, not just language. So it looks at things like signs or some different types of semiotic systems that are used to create meaning. It emphasizes multimedia or digital forms of text, so how we can make meaning in digital media, how we can express ourselves multimodally. It also emphasizes the integration of meaning-making modes, which is what really happens in today's communication, especially online. So mixing the visual and the audio and the spatial and the linguistics all together to create meaning. So that makes it a very dynamic and fertile framework for using digital games to promote literacies. So the premise of multiliteracies pedagogy is the design of meaning, looking at meaning making as a semiotic process of producing or consuming text. And this process has three main elements: available designs, which are meaning-making resources, linguistic or non-linguistic, so it looks at different semiotic systems, the process of designing meaning using these available design, and the production of the redesign, the outcome or the message. And the foundation of this approach is that by engaging in designing meaning, using available designs, we're not only transforming the text or the meaning, but we're also developing the learner's ability to create meaning and design texts. Okay, so by applying this, I believe we can use digital games to promote digital literacies. So now that we have an idea about multiliteracies pedagogy, now let's look at what digital gaming has to offer. And to do that, we need to conceptualize digital games. And by looking at um, the diversity of fields that have investigated or examined digital games, we can see that video games can be conceptualized in different ways as dynamic texts, as affinity spaces, and also as semiotic ecologies or semiotic systems. So, as texts, video games are texts that make meaning, that use verbal and multimodal resources to make meaning. Inside the game, you make meaning by taking action, and outside the game, there is a host of multimodal text designed about gameplay. So things like strategy guides, uh, blog posts about gameplay, all of these are texts generated around gameplay. Also, we can look at a video game as a cultural artifact or a cultural text that reflects the literacy practices and cultural values of and beliefs of a speech community. So in this sense, video games can be thought of as texts that we can analyze and consume. Video games are also affinity spaces, which means they represent persistent online communities centered on the production and dissemination of knowledge about gameplay, about how to play the game. And usually these communities involve cross-cultural interaction. These affinity spaces involve apprenticeship in gameplay, and they involve literacy practices such as research, analysis, and evaluation. So in that sense, we can think of the gaming ecology as a learning community that draws on various resources and on social apprenticeship to promote learning of gameplay. Also, video games as systems can be thought of as semiotic ecology, as semiotic systems that create meaning using signs. So one of the definitions of a video game by Salin and Zimmerman is that a game is a system of signs, a semiotic system where each sign gets meaning or acquires its meaning from its relationship to the whole system. Another definition is that video games are interactive narratives, that it's a system that creates narrative, that creates meaning from a horizon of possibilities by taking action. Okay, so we can think of video games as also embodied meaning system where the games embody the rules in action, and the player is able to deduce the meaning of these rules from interacting with the game system through various signs in the game system. So, video games can be thought of as dynamic text, affinity spaces, and semiotic systems. So now let's think about how we can utilize each of these conceptualizations to promote digital literacy in a language classroom. So if we think about dynamic text, if we think of video games as dynamic text, we can use these texts to promote digital literacy by analyzing and composing these texts. So we can analyze forms, modes, and genres of gaming paratexts, online texts, digital text designed about gameplay. So things like strategy guides, fan fiction narratives, instructional manuals. And these will not only promote students' ability to read and write in the foreign language, but it will also improve their ability to produce and design text in digital spaces. We can also engage learners in analyzing digital games as text for cultural values, representations, ideologies, and biases. And we can also use gameplay as a theme for multimodal composition. So creating materials, multimodal materials about gameplay, things like game review videos or fan fiction narratives, or even reflection essays. So in this sense, we are promoting the analysis and composition of new genres of writing in digital platforms about gameplay. Um, if we look at games as, so we have here a couple of examples. Uh, so we can ask students to play simulation games such as The Sims, discuss the cultural values and ideology represented in the game on a discussion board, and then students research reviews of the game online and discuss the genre of writing game reviews, write their own reviews on the class blog, and after playing the game, record a gameplay walkthrough with their voiceover commentary and upload it to YouTube. So obviously there is a lot of reading and writing here, but also we're composing in different digital platforms, and students are learning the literacies necessary to compose and produce their texts in these platforms. So they learn how to create a video, how to add voiceover, how to upload it to YouTube, how to comment on a video on YouTube, how to research gaming sites, how to identify the genre of writing on a blog, how to post on a blog, and so on. Now, if we look at digital games as affinity spaces, we want to capitalize on the resources and social apprenticeship that gaming communities have to offer. So we will promote their participation in these communities to practice game-centered multimodal composition. So we're not just writing wikis or blogs in the vacuum, but we're doing this as part of a community. And the point of that is to utilize the community learning resources to improve their multimodal composition abilities. So things like social apprenticeship, how audience provide feedback, how they can engage in collaborative discussions with other gamers in the community to discuss their texts or the materials they are trying to design. Or utilize some of the resources that the community has to offer, such as how-to guides, how to create a YouTube video, how to record gameplay, how to create a gaming mod, that's like a modification of a game, and so on. So they're practicing information and communication technology skills by participating in the community, and they're using the social structure of the community or the affinity space to get social apprenticeship, to get training on using these multimodal composition platforms, and they're also using resources provided in these communities to guide their composition process. Also, participation in collaborative gameplay in itself involves promoting or practicing ICT skills because they engage in information and communication technology skills. They have to use computer-mediated communication to manage shared action with co-players. They might create and apply some gaming mods. They might have to research some strategy guides online. So just participating in collaborative gameplay involves some important critical literacy skills that they need to develop to engage in online instruction. And we have an example here. We have students play a popular multiplayer online game such as World of Warcraft and use computer-mediated communication to coordinate gameplay with other players. Then they participate in a gaming fan fiction site. They create an account, they write about their gameplay stories or the trajectories of their characters in gameplay, and in the site they analyze and discuss fan fiction narratives they have read, and they gather feedback from the audience to improve their narrative. So my emphasis here is on not just participating in the community, but using the feedback, the comments, the interactive features of these gaming sites or fan fiction sites to learn from the community about writing a fan fiction narrative, learning from the community about creating a video, creating a digital or an interactive narrative. Now, if we look at digital games as semiotic system, our emphasis is going to be on analyzing semiotic system and using multimodal semiotic resources to create meaning. So I'm going to focus on analyzing meaning-making systems in the games and in gaming text. So we look at the game design, looking at the effect of visuals, of colors, of sign system. How does the game communicate to the player that your avatar is in danger? How does it communicate that you have won a reward? So all of these meanings are communicated multimodally in the game through various signs. So analysis would involve not only looking at the language, but looking at the different types of multimodal semiotic systems in play. And then using these systems or using their understanding of these multimodal systems to create multimodal gaming text. So creating gaming walkthrough, game review presentation, gaming mods. So we have an example here of asking students to play a strategy game such as Civilization and then discuss the meaning-making systems used in the game and how different semiotic systems are utilized by the game system to communicate certain messages or ideas or rules to the players. And then have students turn their gameplay trajectories into interactive narratives. So use what they learned about multimodal expression or different semiotic systems and use that to express their narratives in the game. Not through traditional writing, but through digital storytelling programs, creating that as a video and posting that on YouTube. So they're not only learning about different semiotic systems, but they are also learning how to use these systems to create meaning on a digital platform and post that video or the final product on a vlogging channel such as YouTube. So as you can see, here we are trying to promote digital literacies, which are essential skills that our students need through digital gaming, which is a very engaging and immersive environment, through multiliteracies pedagogy. So we're combining it with the traditional literacies that we need to emphasize in the language classroom. And we're doing so by looking at games from different perspectives as dynamic text, as affinity spaces, and semiotic system. And of course there is some overlap here between these different perspectives because we're looking at the same media, video games or digital games, but from different angles. So we see here that there are a lot of potential for promoting digital literacy in the foreign language classroom while promoting also traditional literacies and L2 practice. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and I'm looking forward to answering your questions.